Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to the show, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to like and share this broadcast, and we come to you each week right here on Facebook Live at 3 o'clock Eastern to help connect the dots in real estate. We'll soon be coming to you on multiple platforms, by the way, here in the next few weeks, and we'll keep you posted on that. You know, today we have a special guest. We have realtor slash broker out of Biloxi, Mississippi. She's really no stranger to the show. She has been on in the past, and I'm glad to have her back, Miss Tashia McGinn with Exit Realty, and we'll be making sure that you have all of her contact information so you can follow up with Tashia after the show should you have any questions on the comments that she'll have today. And really what we're talking about today, what the subject matter is why buy now, right? I think as most of us who are in the real estate industry understand the answer to that question, but really transferring that knowledge to a prospective client or a prospect when you are looking at homes or trying to sell a home sometimes can be a little bit challenging, right? We want so desperately for them to realize really what the market's like right now, but how do we create that urgency without being too pushy or, you know, doing it in a diplomatic way where they're really on board? Because when we have them on board, right, that's a big part of the battle. So if we can conquer that, we're going to have a much easier time in making that sale, finding the perfect home for our client and moving forward, right? So today we're going to be referencing and excuse me while I kind of open up this new phone. Okay, so today we're referencing an article. There was an article in Realtor.com or at Realtor.com, and it's by Lisa Kaplan Gordon, and it's 3 crucial reasons why you should buy a home before 2017 ends, right? So if you haven't seen this article yet, make sure you check it out. It's on Realtor.com. That's 3 crucial reasons why you should buy a home before 2017 ends. And by the way, I'll just open up with this. You know, Lisa, the author of this article, says that buying a house in 2017 will feel kind of like you've jumped onto the subway, just as the doors were closing, your heart's pounding, and you're winded from the race, but you made it just in time, right? And that is kind of how it feels right now in 2017. Now, we as realtors and agents, I'm sure that we are hoping that this trend continues as far as the opportunity that we have right now with all of the movement in real estate and all of the traffic that we're seeing. But I think really what the article is saying is, look, hey, we can't afford to wait, and let's see if it gets better for our clients. Right now, we know it's really good. Rates are at an all-time low. You know, I'm not even going to get into that because we're going to get into it in the conversation. So we're going to take a quick break, but this is a special break because, as you may know, we've talked about it before on the show. Under Contract Live will be at the Florida Expo in August. We'll be live there, and we're doing some really special, cool things, such as if you're a realtor and you're in the Orlando area or you're planning to attend that event, we're going to do free, that's right, free commercials for you. We're going to do 15-second commercials. We'll have them pre-scripted. We'll do a professional commercial for you that you can then place on your website later or marketing purposes, whatever you want to do. That's going to be absolutely free. We're also going to have a selfie booth right on the set, so you can be photographed as the co-host of Under Contract Live, and you can use that to help your branding and marketing. So make sure that you're looking for us there. And we have a special announcement, and make sure my producer's ready to go to commercial. Okay, so we have a special announcement from our friend and shark from the Shark Tank, Damon John, as to why you want to attend that event. We'll be right back on Under Contract.
How you doing, everybody? Back to thinking like you're broke. The power of broke. Now remember, broke is a temporary situation. Poverty of the mind is permanent. Mentors. Those individuals in your life that have no interest in your company, but they give you the knowledge because they've been successful. They want to pass this down. They want to help you, and they want to help you because they feel like they're blessed. What are you doing for the mentor as well? Anybody who's going to give you something, you must do something for them. Go out and find a mentor. You don't need to go and find the big Damon Johns and the Mark Cubans who happen to be on these public platforms. Go find a local person. Life is a series of mentors. Once you outgrow that mentor and you go on to another person and another mentor, and you know what? Make sure that you become a mentor to somebody as well, and you pay it all back. Today I'm going to talk about OPM. Other people's money, right? But OPM doesn't always have to stand for other people's money. Other people's marketing, other people's manpower, other people's mind power. Of course, you can always make money off of other people's mistakes. I went over to my screen printer and I said to him, how much are you going to charge me to screen print a shirt, the whole thing put together? He said, you know what? I'm going to charge you $6. Don't charge me $6, charge me $7. And here's the concept. The stores, they didn't want to trust me with giving me $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. They knew that I was a really hungry kid and I was pulling up in a beat-up jalopy car and I most likely was going to buy a new car with it. But they trusted the screen printer and the manufacturer, so they would pay directly to the manufacturer. And here's the best part for me. I made money, and how much of my company did I give away? Zero. I gave away zero, zilch. You see it all the time. If you go to New York on 47th Street, you walk up and down and you see a million jewelry stores. And you think that they're not working each other, they're all competitors? No, they're not. Some are selling lower end goods, some are selling higher end goods, some are doing back office stuff, some are doing things for women, some are doing things for men, and they are symbiotic. They're having a strategic relationship off of each other. And that is the way the industries work. Go out there and find somebody who kind of appeals to your customer, but doesn't take your exact customer. And you get to share each other's experience and each other's customers, and you get to grow collectively. Go out there and create strategic relationships.
Hey, thank you for that message, Damon, and welcome back to the show, Under Contract Live. We are here, by the way, talking today. The subject matter is why buy now, right? But most importantly, how to get that message internalized in your prospect, right? Having them really understand the urgency that we're in this market, right? Having them prepared, not, one of the things I think is that, it's very challenging for most of us to be able to create that message with the buyer without feeling like we're pushing them. But the reality is we have to share the situation with them. That's part of what makes us the expert in this area. So getting them to internalize that so that it actually increases their buying power, and we'll talk about how that's done in a moment. But I'm going to bring on our guest from Biloxi, all the way from Biloxi, Mississippi, and I'm so happy that she's with us again. Tashia McGinn with Exit. And Tasha, you're going to have to, kind of fill in the blank. I believe it's Exit Prestige Realty. Did I get that right?
You did not. So eventually you will get it right. But it's Exit Prestige Luxury Realty. It's a mouthful, but
okay.
I like the word prestige and I like the word luxury, so I had to fit it in there.
Yeah, I like that too, and I appreciate you coming back on the show today. I just referenced during the opening, I'm not sure if you heard it, but we were talking about a recent article on Realtor.com. It was written by Lisa Kaplan Gordon, just to make sure that she is credited. But she talked about the fact that, hey, you really need to buy a home even before 2017 ends. And she goes into, 3 crucial reasons why. But I want to talk to you about that. First of all, do you agree with Lisa? I mean, is now really the time to buy a new home?
100% agree with her, and a couple of reasons why. First, obviously, the interest rates we've been, seeing on the news and on the internet and every other type of media outlet there is, that interest rates will go up. And so right now we're at a historical low, and we're at a time where, you can get still as low as 3.8, 4%, and that's something that could change at any time. So, if you've been dragging your feet about whether or not you should buy a home, number one is interest rates. So I 100% agree, with her article. There's obviously much more, and I'm sure you'll go into detail, but absolutely 100% I agree.
Yeah, and actually that was, she listed 3 reasons. I've kind of added a few more to talk about today, but she listed 3 reasons, and the rising rates were the number one. Obviously right now rates are at an all-time low. And the thing about it, Tasha, is they've been at an all-time low, historically for quite a while now. So I think that the market is somewhat spoiled by that. What do you think?
No, I definitely agree, and we've almost got that cry wolf type scenario going on right now, where they keep saying it's coming,
right,
and then nothing happens. So, but I'm going to give you an example of that. I'm from South Mississippi, and we had Hurricane Katrina, and leading up to that, it was one of the most devastating hurricanes ever. And so they kept saying, okay, this is going to be the Mac Daddy, that you need to flee, and so everybody kept leaving, and then it was. The storm was, it puttered out, or it went west or went east. And so everybody kind of got that same syndrome. The thing is that, we've definitely gotten spoiled and we've gotten lax, but it could change at any time. So it could definitely be a shoulda, coulda, woulda. And, everybody always looks at it, hindsight's 20/20. I should have done it when they were, 3%. I should have done it when they were 3.25 and 3.5 and so on. So I definitely think that it's going to happen. A lot's happened in our economy that has really, hindered the rates going up. But I think it's inevitable. I think that in order to have a stability going forward, that it's something that has to happen. But I do agree that we've gotten spoiled, and we've gotten we've in a lot of ways taken it for granted that they are as low as they are.
Yeah, I think you're spot on with that kind of cry wolf type of thing, because it's it has been everywhere in the media. It seems like the last couple of years, they're going to raise it next week. They're going to raise it the next time they meet. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. And we're thinking, oh my gosh, it's going to jump up a half a point this month, a half a point next month. And then it just seems to not go up. In fact, in some cases, it kind of draws back a little bit. So, but what's interesting to me is that, from what I understand, from every indicator I have seen, that when you get that first bit of hike, all of a sudden there's more people coming out of the woodworks. And, because obviously it puts that fear in that, hey, we're at that point where now it's starting to go up, so we got to get in before it's too late. But really, right now is the time to do that before we have that uptick.
Sure. I do want to point out, too, another thing that people need to consider with the interest rates. We're in a new administration with our president, and so with that is going to come change. And so, with the Obama administration, there were, he had his way of doing it, and there was a lot of things that our economy had to struggle through. And we've certainly gotten to a point where we haven't 100% bounced back, but we have stabilized. And so with the new administration, this could be the time that this finally happens. But it does create motivation, and that goes back to the shoulda, coulda, woulda. People start to see that, there's movement, just like with the foreclosures. Everybody was waiting for the prices to drop to the lowest, and then next thing you know, they wait so long that one, inventory's gone, and then two, the prices had already gone back on the increase. And, so there's never a perfect time. There's never really any magic genie bottle to rub to figure out exactly when the rates are going to go up, how much are going to go up, or whether or not, truly right now is the best time to buy. I mean, obviously you have to make that decision for yourself, but there are too many advantages right now in the market to not take advantage of it as a consumer.
Right. And, so the second point that she made was inventory is shrinking. And I know for a fact here I'm in Hillsborough County, the Tampa Bay area of Florida, and I know that you're in Biloxi, so I'm not sure what that market is like. But here we have less than a 60-day supply of, resales on the market, which is, by the way, I believe really, really helping us in the new home side, because it's really driving new construction because there just aren't enough homes on the market. So what's it like in Biloxi right now? Is it the same situation?
Yes and no. I mean, every market's different. Obviously, as I said before, we had a pretty devastating hurricane in our area, so it did wipe out a lot of inventory. So, even being 12 years later, we're still not even close to the inventory we were before Katrina. So there has been a supply and demand, issue that drives our market. However, at the same token, we've had spikes as far as people coming back to our area. And pricing depends a lot in our area as well. So if a house is effectively priced and it's between like the 150 to 200 range, they sell pretty quick. Anything else above that takes quite a long time. But I wouldn't say that ours is just a lack of inventory just because our market's been so good and it turning from a buyer's market to a seller's market. Our supply and demand is because it's not there. It gets wiped away. So, for the people that do come back to our area, new home builders, you build homes, so they tend to do very well.
Sure.
With property. So.
Yeah, I hadn't really thought about it because I haven't really researched your market, but I'm guessing that I certainly understand, with that explanation. And I would think that right now that's what you're seeing is a lot of, rebuilding and now people wanting to come back. And maybe it's probably a bargain to a certain degree as far as getting there and starting fresh again. But let's talk about, the third and final thing that she mentioned was home prices are rising. I think we all know that. I know here locally for us, year over year, we're about 10% higher than last year. So someone is coming in, that purchased a $250,000 home last year. Now it's $275,000. So and there's really not a clear end in sight. I mean, obviously the market's going to take care of itself and it's going to level out at some point. But right now we're still climbing. So I would think that right now is a great time as far as pricing. And then I'll bring up one other thing that I kind of added to that. Because of that, people who own their own home now, who have owned it for a number of years, are now positioned much better because now their home is worth a lot more and they're in an equitable position. And I've always been a big believer in that if you make moving affordable, if you make upgrading affordable, if it lines up in their budget, oftentimes I think most of us are going to want to move up. So maybe talk about that.
Sure. Okay, so even though we have a supply and demand issue in our state, prices have gone up. They were extremely inflated after the storm because of the supply and demand, and then right on the heels we had the economy go south. So there was a transition with the prices. It went, like in our market, extremely high to extremely low. But what we're seeing now is, our prices, very much like your market, have gone up. And going back to the very first thing that we talked about with interest rates, shoulda, coulda, woulda. And, real estate market will always go up and down, but right now you may see a little bit of wave action with the prices fluctuating, but I don't suspect that it'll go relatively down like it did in 2007. I think that it's going to continue to climb. So I agree. The sellers are in a position now where they can potentially pull equity out of the home that they have because of the increased prices, and then buyers are still in a position where they can buy a house affordably, with without the price of the homes being inflated, as I think that they will be. I think it's just a cycle. I think they'll eventually, keep climbing. So
yeah, and I want to kind of bring out a couple more points that I added here that I just believe are really also driving the market. And might I add that I think it's going to drive the market for quite a while now. But one of the things is that I believe there's a pent up demand, and what I mean by that is, when we had the crash and a lot of people lost their homes and they went through this and that, or even if you had amazing credit and you wanted to buy a home, you had to come up with 20% down, all of a sudden you had to have that much cash. And the other thing was, everything was scrutinized, and I can remember, having good credit and having some of my credit cards companies just lower my credit limits all of a sudden, because they were all trying to minimize whatever risk or exposure they might have as they recovered, right? So now we've kind of we've gone through that, and people have learned to save money, and now the lending is starting to loosen up. So there's like this pent up demand, as well as, by the way, millennials now that are wanting to own a home that really they maybe weren't at that stage, 5 or 6 or 8 years ago, but now they're at an age and a point where, hey, now it's time they're moving on, right? They're going to buy their first home, things like that. And which brings up a whole nother show we should do, by the way, because from what I understand, the average age of a realtor is like mid-50s, and now we're got this huge millennial market that we need to market to differently. So
getting younger and younger every day.
Right?
No longer the retired school teachers.
Right, exactly.
But you brought up a very good point. And so all of those different things that you're talking about with millennials and people being given the means, the fundamental point is that banks are lending again. I mean, we went through a very lengthy period where, if you did not have a high 700 or 800 credit score assets, you just were not getting a loan, period. I mean, our
right.
renting in our area just spiked because people just could not, meet the, all the demands of the banks. And so the banks have loosened up. I mean, our market's really hot right now, and, first-time home buyers are on the rise, and we've been able to convert renters to buyers, and, they're renting because they could not buy after 2007 just because the banks were so restrictive on who they would lend money to. So,
right.
That's a huge point. So, you can have high interest or low interest rates all day long, but if banks aren't giving money away, none of that's relevant.
Exactly. So, because this time, Tasha, it just flies by. We only have a couple more minutes left, but the one thing I wanted to touch on, and I probably should have spent more time on this, was, okay, so we have all these reasons why buy now and why it's such an opportunity, but, let's talk about for a moment how we have our client or our prospect internalize that? How do we share that with them in a way where it's not pushy? It's not like, I think you know what I'm saying, but how do we transfer that and give them comfort and at the same time internalizing that sense of urgency that they really need to have? I have a couple of ideas, but go ahead and maybe speak on that real quick.
Well, to me, a couple of that is knowledge is power. I mean, right now we are in a day and age where technology is so advanced that everything is at your fingertips. So, as an agent, and if I was representing a buyer, the first thing I would do is point them in the direction to self-educate. And that way I'm not trying to cram down, their throats, basically, why I think they should buy. The second is, is history. I mean, look at, the 1980s with interest rates over 18%. I mean, what's to say that that doesn't happen again? There's nothing to prevent that from happening. So, and then if they have a fear of buying, there are so many different companies that really handhold buyers through the process and work with them on credit. So if it's a credit issue, they kind of take you a little out of the equation so that it's not like you're pushing them. You can kind of, guide them to, hey, I've got somebody that could work with you if your credit's a little sketchy. Or banks, because banks want to lend money now that they're given the opportunity to lend, they're so helpful. So you get a lot of lenders that will really just embrace your buyer and make them feel very comfortable with the whole process. And so, but bottom line is the knowledge, the technology. There's information at our fingertips, and us as realtors, we can point our buyers in the direction where they can self-educate so that they're informing themselves, and it's not necessarily us trying to, force feed it to them.
Yeah, and I think, one of the things that after selling for 27 years now, actually professionally, but probably been selling since I could crawl, and I know that many of the viewers are in the same boat, right? We're all salespeople, but
we're all salespeople at heart.
Yeah, exactly. So, but one thing I've learned is that there's a lot of power in readiness, and what I mean by that is, I've been able to leverage my ability to act right now. That has helped me get incredible deals. So, being able to share that with a customer, like not where we're saying, hey, we need to rush to buy a house, or you've got to be in a hurry. But once you let's take all the time we need to find the perfect home, but understand that once you find that, your readiness is your leverage. I mean, you really need to be ready to go.
Yeah, and most buyers are going to do their own homework without ever talking to an agent. I mean, everybody's pretty much at this point, buying their home on the internet before they ever meet an agent or see the property. But I want to make, one point.
Sure, of course.
And coming to a close on this is, talking about the hindsight's 2020. And I wrote this down. It says, 10 years from now, you'll look back and you'll wish you bought now. And that's been true throughout history. You look at your grandparents 30 years ago, and they're buying houses for $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. Same houses now are worth $200,000. So
yep.
That's just going to continue to be, the philosophy going forward. I mean, that is we've got history, and so that's going to be it. 10 years from now, you're going to wish you bought now.
Yep, you're writing a check to yourself every time you make that payment. So here's the thing. I want you to. Are you able to see the broadcast right now, Tasha, as you're Skyped in, or no?
I'm not.
Okay, that's all right. That's all right. We're gonna end the interview, but I want you to go back because we're getting ready to do something special for you as soon as you leave the air.
Oh,
that's
yay.
all I'm going to say.
I'm at a regional meeting right now, so I snuck away. That's why I've got the.
Okay.
I'm all redneck here with the phone and.
No worries. No worries. You'll get to see it later.
Okay. Pleasure talking to y'all. I'm glad that I could be on this your show today. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Tasha. Thank you as always. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you. All right, we're going to roll something really special for Tasha here, something that I found she has no idea, but let's roll it. Ezra. You want to put me back on the air for a second? Okay, so we had the video freeze here for a second, but bear with us. We're going to roll this here in just a moment. So, what did you think about today's show? Maybe you can comment on the Facebook page here. Comment on what you thought, what you think maybe we should be sharing with our clients in order to give them an understanding or internalize that sense of urgency when it comes to looking for a home right now, buying a home right now, and maybe putting them in a place where that they understand what's taking place in the market. So comment on that. By the way, I also want to announce while we have a moment, we're going to be launching I've mentioned this the last couple shows, but it's getting ready, probably about a week away from launching our new website, undercontractlive.com. It's going to be exciting because not only will you be able to see all of the previous episodes there, we'll also be live streaming on that site as well as Facebook, YouTube, and some other formats. And you'll be able to go onto that site and actually see some really cool things that are happening in the real estate, look at the calendar of what's going on with Under Contract. You'll also be able to not only see our sponsors, but we'll have direct links to our sponsorship sites. So that'll be pretty exciting. And are we ready? Okay, we're going to try it again. We're going to roll to this video.
Who's that sexy thing I see over there? That's me, exit sales queen. What's that exit thing? What's it all about? You and me doing some sponsoring. I thank God every day that I woke up feeling this way. I can't help loving myself. Now I just need everyone else. If I was you, I'd wanna join exit too. I'd wanna be exit too. I'd wanna be exit. If I was you, I'd wanna be exit too. I'd wanna be exit too. I'd wanna be exit too. I walk into a listing using DISC. I always sell my listings. My exit team behind me. See Morris founder woo-hoos. This exit's all about you. Other companies try to, but they can't do like we do. I thank God every day. I woke up feeling this way. I can't help loving myself. Now I just need everyone else. If I was you, I'd wanna join exit too. I'd wanna join exit too. I'd wanna join exit too. If I was you, I'd wanna join exit too. I'd wanna join exit too. I'd wanna join exit too. I thank God every day that I woke up feeling this way. I can't help loving myself. Now I just need everyone else. Ooh. If I was you, I'd wanna join exit too. I'd wanna join exit too. I'd wanna join exit too. If I was you, I'd wanna join exit too. I'd wanna join exit too. I'd wanna join exit too. If I was you, I'd wanna join exit too. I'd wanna be me too. I'd wanna join exit too. If I was you, I'd wanna be me too. I'd wanna be me too. I'd wanna join exit too.
And there you go, Tasha. And realtors, that's today's marketing, right? I love it when I see stuff like that where realtors really get out of the box and just have fun and really also send a message at the same time. So if you're not doing that, you're probably missing the boat because that's where it's at right now. So, hey, it's time. Let's do our drum roll, and it is time for the Realtor of the Week. And this week, Realtor of the Week is Tammy Acosta. Tammy Acosta with Realty One Group. You can find her at realty1group.com. She's in California. She's out of the Huntington Beach area, I believe, and Miranda, I believe. So reach out to Tammy. You can find her. She's all over social media doing some cool things right now as well. And so we wanted to recognize Tammy, and she will be notified that she was the winner of Realtor of the Week this week. And by the way, there's some cool things coming for those of you who were named Realtor of the Week. A few things we've been working on. We'll be reaching out to you with Under Contract Live. So that is it. That's all of today's show. I want to thank our producers. Ezra, we have 2 more weeks, by the way, only 2 more shows in the current studio. Next week, joining us, by the way, is Leah Povey-Turner. She is a new home sales trainer. You can learn a lot from her, even if you're in the general side and not the new homes. But she has some really cool stuff to share. Next week, she'll be live in the studio here with us. And also, the following week on the 28th, we have Kyle and Sarah Hughes flying in from Texas, and they'll be here on the set as well. And we'll be talking about negotiating for your client. We'll be talking about how to get your offer accepted, how to negotiate on behalf of your client. They are experts at this, and they're going to come and share with us. So until then, until next week, we'll see you later on Under Contract Live. #boom.
I have been using Serial Sales Pro for a little more than 2 years now.
I highly recommend it to anybody who's either just getting in sales. I don't care if you've been in sales 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Doesn't matter who you are, where you are.
The shorter videos allows me to keep my concentration and also gives me more of a chance to actually apply that knowledge.
I've learned how to close deals better and be more effective in my communication with these customers.
You know, I think what Serial Sales Pro does for me, it just keeps me sharp, keeps my edge sharp.
My income has literally tripled in the last 3 years.
This year, I'm already slated to make about 50 grand more than I made last year.
I've doubled my income from what I made last year.
It's definitely increased my income, and a lot of that came from what I learned right from Serial Sales Pro.
It's really turned my whole sales career around.
It keeps me ready to get to the next level.
So if you're not plugged in to it, get involved right away.
Let's face it, in today's market, video is the new curb appeal. Even if somebody drives by your listing, the first thing they're going to do is pull their phone out, take a look at that property online. Whether you're selling a $200,000 home in Central Florida, or a multi-million-dollar estate in Palm Beach, Florida, or San Francisco, California, or maybe you need some aerial footage for a site acquisition, email me today and let's get started. Robbie at rmtmedia.net.